From the heart of musical traditions in hometowns like Munroe Falls, Ohio, Terre Haute, Indiana, and Marshfield, Missouri, comes artists whose blends of country pop and bluegrass influences in which have captured audiences around the world. Whether it's strumming the mandolin, harmonizing vocals, or unforgettable three-part harmonies, their sound is bold, authentic, and unmistakably their own. Following an unforgettable journey on one of the biggest singing competition shows in America, they're now ready to make their mark and begin their trek to global stardom. With that, I'm pleased to introduce Lady A. Well, I'm joking. It's NBC's The Voice, season 28 finalist, Deck of Hearts. Deck of Hearts, welcome to the show.
Good to be
Hello.
here.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
Well, I mean, what a pleasure. This was one of the biggest targets that I've had to get on the show because I know these trios don't come often. And I know sometimes once in a while a trio goes global stardom and it's hard to get them at the end. So I'm pleased to have you guys on the show. And I just want to begin by talking about what has it meant to you to kind of recap this whole NBC The Voice journey? What has it meant to all of you?
Uh, yeah.
I think for me, sorry, Call.
No, go
Normally
for
we're
it.
all together, so it's a little bit easier. I would say for me, I'm just super proud of how far we've come. I mean, seriously, glory to God with being able to use us so quickly. Like we had been together for a little over 2 years now, but less than that when we started the show. And I really think we've put in a lot of hard work and we've put a lot of hard work in music and our friendships. And I'm just thankful that we had the experience like The Voice just to be able to grow and to be able to learn from some amazing coaches and especially Niall. It's just a really cool opportunity. And I think we have so many fun stories that we can look back as we continue this journey into music and just remember the time when we were on the show and we were just this little trio from Nashville and Midwest people doing trying to do the thing. But yeah, I'm just very grateful.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, if you want to chime in there, Emily and Colin, about just your perspectives on what this journey has meant to both of you.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely fast tracked our timeline for doing this full time. It's seriously been a blast. I think my phone died on the flight home after we had placed third, and so I had like hours and hours to sleep and to think. And it was so nice to reflect on like the journey as a whole. I think the like don't get me wrong, we had so much fun on the show, and the exposure that we've gotten, people recognizing us when we're out at concerts, has been absolutely insane. But I think the thing that will stick with me is just the entire process, like that we got to do together. So many other, I mean, every other contestant actually, I had to do all that alone, and to be able to do that with your best friends is seriously so cool. And we got to go through the hard times together, where you don't sleep very good in the hotel and you're there for weeks, all the way to like making it to the finale where people, I mean, you are pampered like a superstar, which is so cool to get a taste of that with us being together, like Dylan said, under 2 years now, which is just crazy to be at that level so quick. So I'm very thankful, and just it's so much to take in so fast. Like I have to take it in bits, or I'll like look at my camera roll of moments that we've caught and be like, did we sing with Reba actually? Did that really happen? You know? So that's been super awesome. Just I see us all three being super grateful for that experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't have much else to add besides what the boys have said, but I just think that this whole process has been so just encouraging to what our plan was from the start of just doing this full time. And I've been reflecting over the last 6 months for the last couple of weeks now, and I'm just like blown away by what has come from just something that we kind of did on like a whim, like auditioning, just like because we saw a random ad, like we never had a plan of like making it to the end. We didn't have a plan of even getting chair turns. Like it was such a whim, such we auditioned on such a whim that I'm still just so blown away. And it is just so encouraging in reflection of this was the plan all along to get to do this as a full-time job, to get to chase our dreams. We all had different dreams going into this, but I feel like through this process, they've just kind of aligned, and we're just seeing things more as a unit now versus individually. And so yeah, the whole process has been a huge blessing. But it was definitely a shocker.
For sure. And I want to talk about the, I guess, the difficulties of sort of like also managing the harmonies parts of your group because it's not easy. It's a lot of levels to which you've got to really kind of work around. So can you each tell me like what has been sort of the, I guess, the hardest part, but also the most enjoyable part of doing a three-part harmony kind of thing?
Yeah, I think that the thing that actually was the most difficult to navigate was we through the show we wanted to show that all three of our voices individually, but also the magic of having the harmony together. So like our blind audition, Emily was the only one to sing lead on that song, and then as the show progressed, each of us got to sing lead as the show, and we really saw that a lot in the comments where it was like, hey, it shows that they're not just backup singers or that everybody can sing. And I appreciated that comments from the coaches because we were told like, hey, on the show, everybody needs to be able to sing because that's what the audience wants. And so that I think was one difficulty. But then the other thing is we have all different influences. I have more of the bluegrass influence. Dylan's very poppy, and Emily grew up in like the worship and Southern gospel world. And so bringing our flair of those harmonies to the songs was really interesting. And then you have a song like Helplessly Hoping that Now picked for us. That is the hardest song we probably ever sang in our whole entire life and never had to do a song like that. It's completely outside of our genre and comfortability. And so to have to like grind on those kind of harmonies that didn't necessarily come naturally was so challenging, but also so rewarding.
Yeah, I would say, just going through the show, Dylan is such a phenomenal arranger and has been since before the show. But I love just getting to see that side of his brain shine through this process. I often would not know what the best route would be, and or Colin would think one way and I would think one way, and then Dylan would just have this random thought that would just kind of draw both sides of the pieces together. And so we often would come into our band rehearsals on the show with different arrangements, or the boys obviously played instruments on almost all of our songs. And so we always had a different idea of what we wanted the song to sound like, and we wanted to also honor the song by also putting our own spin on it. And so the band was always so welcoming to us making adjustments here and there to the songs. But definitely working in the harmony through the show isn't something that the show sees a lot. It's not something that the show deals with a lot, especially when it comes to like we were all functioning on just one mix during the shows a lot of the times in our monitors. And so the show, I don't want to say that the show's not set up for groups because I think it is. But if you're a group on the show, you have to definitely come in with your own sound, your own arrangements, and be ready to go up against soloists that don't have to necessarily be thinking of those types of things. And so yeah, the show was wonderful and welcoming our own sound by also allowing us to honor the original sound of the song.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I don't have anything to add. That's good. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, well, to continue on that point, I want to talk about, I guess you three look like you don't want to get over the experience of being on The Voice. And talking about getting over the experience, let's talk about What If I Never Get Over You by Lady A, the cover.
What if I'm trying, but then I close my eyes and then I'm right back, lost in that last goodbye. What if time doesn't do what it's supposed to do? What if I never get over you?
Why was that song sort of poignant to your group, and why did it speak levels to, I guess, to perform that song on The Voice?
Paul.
Well, that song is the song that started the trio. I mean, in May of 2023, we sang it at my senior recital when we were all just solo artists, just friends, and I asked Dylan and Emily to sing harmony at my senior recital, and that was the song that everybody talked about afterwards. You have a whole concert, and that's the one that stuck out. And it wasn't how we started or ended the show. So interesting. And people were like, "Hey, I think there's something there." And then fast forward to almost a year later, in April of 2024, we started the group, and it was seriously centered around that song practically. And so, getting to perform on the show and show kind of our take on a Lady A song, especially with that one being the one, is just so special. Like, seriously, for me, that was my favorite part of the whole show. Our whole experience was, it just felt so powerful. And then the interactions that we had on the show with that song, with Joe Walsh, saying that, that we had something undeniable and that made him, like he said, punch in the face, like the harmonies would punch him in the face. So, like, to hear something like that from such a legend while we were doing it, and then to earn the mic drop at the end, it's insane. So I'm glad that what we felt was relayed to America.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that was sort of one of the performances that really stuck out, and that's clear. And what's really interesting is that the trio that you guys officially debuted as Deck of Hearts in April of 2024. And you opened for Grammy Award winning artist Rhonda Vincent, who is also a friend of the show here, who's also been on the show. So I guess we have a lot of things in common here. But talk about Rhonda Vincent. What did that moment mean to you as sort of a group that was just forming, or or it has just formed, and so having the chemistry that you have to build while also being able to perform and open for Rhonda Vincent. What did that mean to you?
Well, I actually worked for Rhonda for 2 years, which was super awesome. And so we were friends with her, and I so appreciated her, like, believing in us enough to give us the chance to open for her in Missouri. And throughout this entire process, she's been super supportive. And we're actually playing a show with her again in March. So we're excited to continue that relationship. During one of the breaks of the show, we got to kind of jump on a tour weekend with her, and it was fun because we just got to follow her big old tour bus, and we were in a Cruise America, and we got to follow her around for a weekend, and it was just a little taste of the dream, and it was so fun. So we appreciate her support, and to come out of the gate opening for a member of the Grand Ole Opry and a Grammy Award winner, it was one of those things that's like, I feel like we fast tracked our journey a little bit.
Absolutely. Emily, do you want to chime in there? Or Dylan, do you want to chime in there of what it sort of meant to have Rhonda Vincent to open for her?
Yeah, I'll say this, and I think we've really have had this drilled into our head through like Emily and Roberts, I think was one that said it, but she was Emily and Roberts, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think she was talking about sometimes like when you're at these shows and you're playing, sometimes the audience necessarily like isn't there for you. So as Rhonda Vincent's opener, when we were just starting as the trio and we got to play in Missouri, it really like we got to the end of it this set and it was like it didn't really feel like anyone was into it and we're just kind of looking at each other like okay we tried our best. I hope people liked our songs, but I think there's a level of like you can't be discouraged because even though you might not feel like visibly that you have people that are really into it, I think there's like the internal side too. Like sometimes like people just react in a different way and maybe they're like maybe they really are reflecting on it or maybe they aren't even fans, but it's just learning how to navigate during those different performances. Sometimes the audience will eat you up and sometimes they're not gonna like you. And so I think that was just really good for us to experience because we one of the things I appreciate about us is that we're pretty adaptable. Growing up with different influences, even though we're in the pop country world, I really appreciate that we can do different harmonies. And even though it's the same voices, it adds a little different tone sometimes, and depending on who's leading the song. But yeah, I'm just super proud that we were able to have that opportunity and to be able to still like lift our head high and continue on. And it's been cool to be in those different atmospheres.
Absolutely. Emily, do you have anything further you want to add there?
No, I think the boys hit it on the head. I'm very grateful to Rhonda for her continual support. We are not in her genre and really the least bit. And so just the fact that she takes a chance anytime and allows us to come be a part of her shows in any capacity, opening or as a little special guest moment, anything, it means the world to us. And we're grateful and we hope to share her member status at the Opry in the future.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I feel like this is also important to talk about, and we talk about, the voice experience and everything else, but it all stems from your hometowns. It really does. Munroe Falls, Ohio. Dylan, talk about, I had Aiden Ross recently on the show here, and he said a sentence that really struck me, and he says, "Music is me." And that phrase itself really stuck out to me because I wanted to ask now artists who come on the show, music is me, but what does it mean to you individually? Now, being a trio, that phrase, when you think about it, music is me. What is music to you, Dylan? And coming from Munroe Falls, Ohio, what is your hometown? How has your hometown impacted sort of your musical aspect of your career, and what does music mean to you?
Yeah, great question. I think one thing that sticks out to me is recently, I mean, I would say our hometowns have been super supportive, like even from the get-go, just when we were starting, like before we were a trio, we debuted in Marshfield. It was like, it wasn't Colin and Co, but it was like Colin was leading and Emily and I were contributing to the band as doing background. And I just remember we performed out in the town square in this open space, and people were just bringing lawn chairs and like coming to watch, and it was a lot of people. Like it felt like it was pretty official. But even just from then to now, Colin and I had recently, we're trying to, I think one thing is grow in our areas. Like we're very thankful for the coffee shops and certain venues, but I feel like at the same time, we're thankful for the support, but you keep growing when you come back. Like we've now been in a national competition, and so it's finding the way to be able to continue to grow, but also not cut off those relationships. But what I was going to get to is we're now playing at a theater. It's like 190 people come February, but at first the lady that we were talking to, she wasn't really sold. She said, we've had people come from the shows like The Voice and they just don't pack a crowd. And it was just really fun. And Colin and I got to talk to her, and it was like as the tour kept continuing, she just kind of like had this change of heart, and she's like started like cracking jokes and smiling. And I just really think it's really cool when, since we're from little hometowns, like you can make a very meaningful connection. And sometimes instead of someone seeing your name in lights, it takes that interaction off the stage. And I think that day, like she was like, oh, like you guys seem like you're intentional, and I want to trust you to be able to play this venue. So I just think that means the world when you can have people from your hometown that believe in you after having a conversation. And yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I want to go now to Emily. I mean, from Terre Haute, Indiana, what is your hometown meant to you, and what does music mean to you?
Yeah, yeah. I think about a lot of my childhood in Terre Haute, and I I've been surrounded by music my entire life. From the very beginning of growing up in a church that my great grandpa started a long, long, long time ago as the pastor, and my parents being the worship ministers there, and my grandma playing the organ in a little tiny country church, and getting to go there and sing in a mic that. Barely was louder than the people singing in the room. Like it's just little things like that just made my childhood just full of music from the very start. Um, and then moving up through middle school and high school, doing musicals at the community theater and musicals at my high school. And I mean, that's where like some of my first friends came from when my parents would drop me off at summer camps or would take me to the college to get voice lessons. Or my parents were always such strong believers in me from the very start. My parents grew up in music as well and traveled and did music here and there around my town. And yeah, so they never pushed back on me wanting to chase it with just full force, and that meant the absolute world to me from the very start because I never thought that I was honestly that great at anything else, and so just the fact that they believed in me from the very start meant everything, and even now. growing up, I mean, I did a lot of like gospel, like worship stuff through high school and early college, still in my hometown. And I found a lot of fulfillment from that, but I also knew that there wasn't a great chance that I would get to do that full time after school. And so when the Lord opened the door to do the trio thing, it felt so right in the moment. And I didn't know what it meant for me. I didn't really grow up in country music. I always heard it around me. A lot of my friends listened to it in the car. I heard it on the school bus or in restaurants or whatever. But I didn't grow up in it like Colin did, and I was honestly kind of intimidated by it at first, but bringing that sound back into my hometown now, it's crazy how much it's being welcomed by the people that I know didn't grow up on it, just like myself, grew up very similar to me, but are just welcoming it with open arms. And it's wild that that we're filling up venues that I went to as a kid to go see movies, or that I saw smaller bands perform at when I was a kid. And just the fact that like we're now able to sell them out or even do like a night two at venues like that. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm really grateful to my hometown and all of the people that poured into me as a child through music. I think about my first vocal coach, my choir professor, my parents, my grandparents, just like everyone that just took a chance on me from such a young age and really made me the musician I am today.
For sure. And now we go over to Colin Bailey, from Marshfield, Missouri. Grew up immersed in the bluegrass and country world. I mean, you must have been doing a lot of jumping around the house, just playing the mandolin and doing, the song that you guys performed on The Voice, "I Will Wait" by Mumford and Sons. That was like the most like happiness that people have felt from The Voice. I mean, tell me about Marshfield, Missouri. What is your hometown meant to you, and what does music mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, being from a smaller town, we all are from smaller towns, and it's so crazy to see them rally behind us during this time. I think that it's evident that we're all three are very passionate about what we do. I mean, we live and breathe music, and what we're doing. I mean, it's just crazy how this is unraveled. Growing up, I mean, I always loved music and it was always my biggest passion, but I didn't know if you could do it full time, to be honest. I tried a lot of things. I went to school for something else originally, and I had done a little bit of real estate, worked at a church, and I just knew, thankfully, there was people in my hometown that saw my passion and poured into me and took me aside and was like, "Hey, Marshall, Missouri will always be here. Go chase your dream." And thankfully, Rhonda Vincent was one of those people that was like, "You should go pursue it." And so during this process, it's been so fun to see. I mean, seriously, one of the teachers at my school was like, "Monday nights when the voice is on, Marshall, Missouri shuts down, and we're watching and voting and supporting you guys." And we have seriously felt that so much. Um, and then I think just them seeing someone chase their dreams, so many people in life, especially in rural areas, don't chase their dreams. And so when they have somebody in their community, like the three of us have been able to, of course, they want to rally behind us. And we so appreciate that. And The Voice has just been a dream come true to have that opportunity. And I grew up, like you said, with that bluegrass flair. And so, I mean, I grew up going to see Rhonda Vincent 15, or not even 15, probably 5 minutes away from my house, at a bluegrass festival. And she took me on her bus when I was 12 years old, and just really poured into me as a young kid. And that's what has done it for me, to be honest. So we're very thankful for the people that have invested in us, and we want to be those people for people that come to our shows. And so we're trying to steward that moment well, and give back, and not just take.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, this whole thing has been just it definitely seems like you guys have really now found, actually, you guys have really like laid the foundation of what you want your sound to be as a trio. And I guess the question I would probably ask is, like, through the highs and the lows, and from the day you formed as a trio, what has stuck out to you the most throughout your young careers? What has been the one moment that has been sort of that, I guess, I don't know how to phrase this, but like, what has been the most, I don't know what the word is, but it just like okay, anyways,
Like impactful, like
yeah,
impactful moment or like.
yeah, like impactful. Um, what has been the most impactful moment that you've kind of taken away from your young careers?
Before the trio or like as the trio?
Like as the trio, when the trio formed, or even when before, or the day you guys formed as a trio, uh, and moving forward from there, like what has been throughout that period of time, what has been the one thing that stuck out to you the most?
Hmm. I would say, like, just from how we started, like attending Trevecca Nazarene University, which is a really tiny university in Nashville, like, going to there and like just trying to. I mean, I graduated with a music degree, but I didn't think I was really prepared to step into the journey of like the professionalism of the voice and what it takes in music, like to have a career after. I think you can the danger, at least for me, was like you can get caught in the little bubble. Like we all served on, even though they were worship teams. There's a little bit of sense of pride, like hey, like I am at the pinnacle of what Trevecca can offer. Like I'm doing like the big thing here, and I think it's easy to get stuck in that. And I think the biggest thing that has impacted me is as we've kept progressing and even being the voice, you look and you're just like blown away at the talent. Guys like Aiden that can sing their face off, and a bunch of other artists on there, and people have big personalities, big voices. They can move their voices in different ways. And I think for me, I was like, I'm just very thankful for the trio. I was like, really, the power and the great thing that we have is each other. We get to lean on each other, and it doesn't come just from one person. But I think the most impactful thing for me has just been observing other people throughout our time, from starting in Little Nashville to going on the show. Just the people you meet, and you're constantly in awe, and it's very humbling. And that would probably be my answer.
Yeah, I think it's super hard to nail down just one thing, but I think back about the time when Colin was touring Tribeca for the first time, our school that we went to, and me and my husband just happened to be the first people that he met on campus. And it's little moments like that that feel super not coincidental, like in the least bit. And like there was a reason that I happened to be in that space at the right time, and we happened to end up on the same traveling team, and Dylan happened to end up on my husband's same traveling team, and just little things like that through the journey that there's no way that it was a coincidence that we were lined up in the way that we were, and just all the way back before I ever would have imagined being in a group, being let alone in a country group, that the Lord was ordaining our steps from the very start. And it's so funny. I think about my pastor talked a while ago about how like often our like often God doesn't light like a full path for us. He often just lights like the one step in front of us. And I think about that a lot in our journey of how it's never been more than just like one step at a time. And sometimes it feels like I can't even see the flashlight of like the next step, you know? And right now it feels like we're kind of in that season of I feel like I've been saying this a lot. I feel like I just graduated high school, and I'm not sure if what college I want to go to. I'm not sure if I want to go to college. I'm not sure if college is the right next step. I'm not sure who the best professor is. Like there's a lot of what ifs, but I'm reminded so much of the last 6 months and the last 2 years of my life with these boys, how nothing has felt um, planned. Nothing has been organized by us. Nothing has been super easy to understand, but the Lord has through and through lit every single one of our steps along the way. And so I'm grateful for those impactful moments along the way. And it's so difficult to pinpoint just one because everything's been so good.
Yeah, and then I mean, just to kind of second what they said, I think there probably hasn't been a moment. I mean, here recently, like Niall texted us and was like, "It's an exciting time to be a member of Deca Hearts," and I was like, you know what? It really is. You know, like it really is an exciting time to be a member of Deca Hearts. But I think the thing that's really stuck out to me is I've been around music my entire life and seen successful people and professionals in the industry, especially when I was working for Rhonda. Like I saw so many people come through the Opry. But what stuck out to me is just how fast it's happened for us and how many doors have opened so quickly. And don't get me wrong, we work really, really, really hard at what we do. And we try to plan and be strategic and we're doing the work actively. And I think we're rewarded for that. But what is happening to us is out of our control. And so I think that's been really cool to see. Like, yes, we're putting work and we're trying to do the right thing, but the doors that have opened so quickly and the things that are happening are beyond what we're capable of doing. So we're super thankful, and I think that's showing us that the Lord's blessing what we're doing.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, as our time is winding down here, um, it's just been an absolute pleasure to be able to speak with you guys today, and just an honor to have, I guess, the next what do they call it? The next Lady A, so to speak. Um, just what a group and what a trio and what a sound you guys have together. Um, I mean, if you want to go around quickly and name, if you want to name one of your favorite Lady A songs off of any album, I just want to go around quickly. Uh, anybody have
I,
one favorite?
yeah, I would say seriously, what if I never get over you? It's my favorite song ever.
I would say probably I Run to You.
Gosh, that's really hard. We just went to their concert a couple of nights ago. I don't know. They did Bartender at the concert and it was on a whim and it was amazing. And I don't think it's my favorite, but it's my favorite right now. So I'm gonna say Bartender.
And as we're also getting into the Christmas spirit, favorite Christmas movies?
Yeah, I would say I always go for a sad one, so The Christmas Shoes is my favorite.
That's so sad. My dad cries every time he watches that
Me
movie
too.
or hears that song. I would say Lampoon's Christmas Vacation for me. It's a big one for my fam.
I'm gonna second Emily's as well. That one's iconic.
Yeah, well, I mean, my favorites are always the classic ones, but I've recently been watching a lot of the Tim Allen ones, like the Santa Claus
Oh
ones.
yeah.
Like
Santa Clauses are amazing.
those ones are just iconic. Obviously people will say Home Alone and all those other ones, but nothing can top Christmas with the Cranks.
It's a good one.
That
A
one
good
is
one.
that's an all-timer. That one is an all-timer. Well, I mean, it's been a pleasure, and that concludes our time together. But thanks to my guest, Deck of Hearts. To find out more about them, you can connect with them through socials or through their website, deckofhearts.com. And remember, you can find my show wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow me on all social media platforms. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.